Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darius and Anucauskas. Today's the 14th of December 2018. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's afternoon session where we're gonna have a look at the markets, a few charts, and today I thought I'll do only the currency pairs. So as there is some activity happening right now in that area, but before we jump into the charts, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay guys, so now then, before we jump into the currencies, I wanted to quickly show you the DXY, so basically the dollar index. So looking at this one, you can see that we're having a nice push here today, moving away from this area here around the 97 mark and pushing towards the 97.70. Now, in one of my videos in the past where I was talking about the DXY, I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this first potential area of resistance around the 97.55, and then if that doesn't hold, we could then test the 97.70 mark, which was the high here of the 12th of November, or in other words, the highest point of November. So as you can see, we're now testing that area, certainly getting a bit of a retracement back down, but nevertheless looking quite strong. The big question here is, are we actually going to remain today below this level, or actually we're going to get a nice break here and close the daily candle above that November high? Now, of course, if it stays above this, then yep, I mean, we could see some further acceleration to the upside next week, especially going higher towards the 98 area. But for now, the big question here is the 97.70. Let's see if it breaks it or not. And especially if we see let's see if the daily candle is going to stay above it or not. Even, let's say, there's another point here to make. Even if it stays below the 97.70 but stays above the highs here around the 97.55, still not all is lost for the bulls. I mean, we could see them pushing higher again, because still this is quite a good potential area of support here. But actually, let me just jump into a 4-hour chart, and this one probably will be easier to look at. So this level here, this is what I'm talking about, the 97.55. so even if this index stays below the 97.70, keep your eyes on the 97.55. that remains intact for today, especially if this doesn't break below it, if the index doesn't break back below it. So let's put it that way. Then yep, we could see a further acceleration to the upside and another charge of the 97.70 level. So keep your eyes on that one. In order for us to, let's say, start considering much lower levels, now certainly we would need to see this one dropping back down here below the area around the 97.35, which was marked here by the inside swing lows here of the 12th of December, or even actually better, going down below the 97.30 mark. I do understand it's not far from here, but nevertheless could be a better confirmation of this possible decline lower. But again, for now, judging what we're seeing here at the moment, the downside is kind of slightly off the table. Jumping into USDCHF, now this one is a good one, and looking at the daily chart here, I can see it's getting a nice push here to the upside, so kind of getting back into this range that it was trading in for quite a while, in especially from starting from the end of November, and it kind of also dragged it into the beginning of December, but then we saw the lower side of this range getting broken. The pair managed to drop almost towards this 200 EMA, from which it reversed and pushed back inside this range. So now it's kind of moving towards this the psychological 1 level. Let me just jump back into the 4-hour chart in this one, and you can see that yep, it is trying to push higher here. Certainly it's not far, it's only about about 20 pips away from hitting the psychological 1 level. Let's see how that performs. Let's see how that plays out. Even if we're not gonna make it today to this level, this is something for next week, because at the moment this is looking quite bullish, and yep, we could see maybe a bit of a retracement back down, but you could in a way keep your eyes on this little short-term tentative upside support line for kind of reference, for guidance, because if this is going to drag back down, let's say if this is going to decide to retrace a little bit lower, you could in a way keep in mind of this little short-term upside support line. It could potentially add a bit of support here for this pair, and add support for the bulls so that they could push this pair back up here towards the psychological 1 level. And of course, if this gets broken, then yep, further acceleration to the upside could be possible. For now, be very careful. The downside is slightly off the table. Let's see how this plays out today and where it finishes the day. Looking at the USDCAD now, this one is a very tricky one, but at the same time very interesting. And let me just jump into a daily here, so you can see that we're having a nice push here today to the upside. We're still within this rising channel formation. The only problem here is this little short-term downside resistance line that the pair is kind of struggling to overcome. So in a way, this is going to be our guideline for well, for today, and of course for next week as well, because if this continues to remain intact, then, well, I mean, we could see maybe the bears jumping in here and potentially maybe driving this back down a little bit. Now, for us to, let's say, start considering lower levels and maybe even a possible touch of the lower side of the this rising channel, we would need to get a nice good drop here below this. Let me just quickly mark that for you guys. Now this is for those who are more on the cautious side or more on the conservative side. A drop below the 133.20 could potentially mark that, or could be that gateway towards the lower levels here, and especially this lower side of the rising channel formation. So for now, be very careful. It does have a bit of steam left. It looks like that, but again, this is what's making us worry here a little bit. This little short-term downside resistance line taken from the peak of the 6th of December. So yep, keep your eyes on that one. Let's see how that plays out around that, how the rate plays out around that line. If we get a nice break above this, then yep, that's wonderful for the bulls. We could see this one traveling further up here towards the upper side of the rising channel formation. So, but again, for now, this is what we're seeing. This is the picture that we're seeing, and let's see how that plays out. But again, at the moment, from the very short-term perspective, it still looking quite bullish. So yep, let's see how that plays out. Jumping into GBPUSD now, this one's on a sell-off, in the sell-off mode here. You can see that it kind of continues to decline here. Certainly it's not far from this week's lows near of the 124.75, which is near the 124.75 level, and currently you can see that the pair is kind of trying to find some good area of support here. It managed to break this 125.50 level. So it's currently testing it from underneath, but if it continues to hold, if this 125.50 level continues to hold, we could see further declines here, maybe even actually going all the way here towards the 124.75 level. Certainly, who knows? But again, for now, I would probably suggest to stay cautious here and stay put and see what it wants to do, either with this level here on the downside, with this week's low, or actually does it actually wants to retrace back up here and maybe end the week somewhere around the 120 125, or sorry, 126 area approximately there. So this is a difficult one. For now, of course, it seems that it wants to continue moving lower. Also, of course, keep in mind that scenario that we could see a bit of retracement here. Sorry, a bit of movement here towards the 124.75. But again, looking at this picture, I mean, it could potentially, if it reverses here back to the upside here, now this could potentially mean that it started creating higher lows. But again, before we start assuming that, we need to see that reversal back up here, at least above the 125.50 level, and then we can, like I said, assume that the pair started making maybe higher lows. Jumping into GBPNZD, so this is quickly, I was looking at this one this morning, and basically this is what I was talking about. So we could see this retracement back to the downside to test this downside resistance line from above, and this is what's happening right now. So this downside resistance line kind of held the rate from well, it kind of acted as a nice support, let's put it that way. So let's see if the rate bounces off of it and pushes back up. Now this would be very interesting to see. So for those who are more on the cautious side, in a way, you could wait out this game and wait until this pair gets above the 1.8640 level, approximately there, and then we could potentially aim for much higher levels. But for now it's a very close call, to be honest. At the same time, it could break lower and get back below this downside resistance line and finish the week somewhere around here, or actually we'll see a nice bounce back up here to the upside where we could then potentially aim for higher levels again. But for now, be very careful with this one, guys. Jumping into Aussie dollar, now this one is in the sell-off mode heavily, let's put it that way. So we can see, looking at this daily chart, look at this very strong candle here to the downside, and currently testing this quite important key area of support near the 0.7160. Certainly managed to break it to the downside, but still we're gonna keep a close eye on it, because as you can see, it's currently trading below it and it's trying to push back towards this 0.7160 level. Let's see how that plays out, because if we if we're going to get a nice push back above this, certainly this is what could caution the bears a little bit. But if this decides to travel all the way back above the let me just quickly mark that level, there we go, back above the 0.7177 level, which was marked here by the lows of the 10th of December. Now this is where it could become more interesting for the bulls, and we could potentially see them trying to push this pair back up here, maybe even actually all the way here towards the 0.7240 level. Now of course, I'm not saying that this is going to get it could get touched today, something probably for next week, but the preparation could be done here if the pair moves back above the 0.7177 level. For now, until as long as we remain below the 0.7160 level, still this is looking quite bearish. And if it wants to continue pushing lower here, the next potential target here for support could be around the 0.7120 level, which was marked here by the highs of the 30th of October. Let's jump into quickly euro dollar. Now the euro dollar, well, again, also in the selling mode, and what's more important here is that it managed to break this this short-term upside support line that we were talking about this whole week. And basically today we saw this break here. The pair managed to, well, slow itself down near the 112.70 level, approximately there. The big question here is, of course, is this going to continue falling lower, and are we going to see the lows that we saw here back in November? Or in other words, the lowest points of November, are we going to see those, or is the 112.70 level enough for this pair? So certainly for now we need to probably we need to play the waiting game and see how this develops further. If we'll see this 4-hour candle holding here above the 112.70 level, then yep, there could be a chance for the bulls maybe to push this pair back maybe towards this 113 level, maybe slightly above that, the 113.05 marked here by the lows of the 11th of December. But for now, guys, be very careful with this one, because like I said, it has the same chance to go lower here, especially if it's gonna drop below the 112.70. then we could probably start targeting the 1.1225, which was marked here by the lows of the 13th of November, but slightly lower below that we do have the lowest point of November, which was around the 1.1215 level. So a bit of course, a bit of a drastic move here would be from the euro dollar for today, but again, anything can happen here, guys, and keep on monitoring this 1.1270 or even 1.1265 area approximately there. So keep your eyes on down. If this starts to break, then yep, further declines could be possible. In a way, before actually hitting the 1.1225, you could look at this little level right here. Let me just quickly mark that, and that's around the 112.50 level approximately there, which was the marked by the intraday swing low here of the 13th of November. Also could be a good potential area of support. Keep in mind about that one. Keep in mind that one in your head. So, but if that fails to withhold the bear pressure here, then yep, further declines could be possible. And again, in terms of the upside here, guys, this is we're gonna be keep on monitoring this, the 112.70, 112.65. If it struggles, if the pair struggles to overcome that, or let's put it that way, if it struggles to break that level, then yep, we could see maybe a bit of a retracement here, back up here, maybe even actually going back towards the 113 level. Who knows? But continue monitoring this one, guys, and continue monitoring this level that I was just talking about. And the last pair quickly I wanted to touch on, and that's EURGBP. Now, I've looked at this one yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, and this is what I was talking about. Yes, I was looking at this one yesterday, and basically this is what I was talking about. I was talking about this upside support line drawn from the lows of the 13th of November, and basically what we're waiting here for is certainly for now, as long as this line remains intact, yes, we could say that it's still looking bullish, and we could continue traveling further up here, to be honest. But for the upside, we would need to see this nice good pop here above the 0.9015 level approximately there, and only then we'll consider a possible move higher, maybe even towards the highs of this week, or even actually going all the way here towards the 0.91 level. But for now, until it's kind of stuck here in this little, as you can see, we can call it maybe a range here, and slightly above this upside support line, we're going to stay put. We're going to keep on monitoring it. Even if this upside support line breaks and the pair moves a little bit lower, for us to get comfortable with lower levels, we need to get a break here below the 0.8950 level, and only then we'll aim for lower levels like the 0.8885 or even actually further down here. But for now, guys, keep on monitoring these two levels. Keep on monitoring the 0.8950 on the downside and the 0.9015 on the upside. So let's see how that plays out. Again, I'll repeat myself, even if this short-term upside support line breaks, still it doesn't really mean that, you know, we're going to continue falling lower here. We need to see this a nice good break here below the 0.8950 first, and then we'll aim for much lower levels. Okay, guys, I hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for watching and listening. And if you want to join me on Monday on my Traders Espresso, and that's 7 o'clock GMT time. So yeah, but for now, for those who are still trading, I hope you have a fantastic trading day. For those who are finished for today, have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you on Monday, guys. Bye bye.